It's 3 a.m. Your eyes open, wide awake. No alarm, no noise, no reason. Just awake. And you know what happens next. You lie there, brain suddenly at full speed, thinking about tomorrow, yesterday, that conversation from 6 months ago, your heart rate slightly elevated, body tense. You check the clock, 3:07 a.m. You do the math. If I fall asleep right now, I can still get 3 hours and 53 minutes. But you don't fall asleep right now. You lie there for an hour, maybe 2. By the time you actually drift off, your alarm is 20 minutes away. This isn't random. This is a specific neurological and hormonal pattern. And today, I'm breaking down exactly why your brain wakes you at 3 a.m., why you can't fall back asleep, and the exact intervention that fixes it. Let's get into it. First, let's understand what's happening in your brain during a normal site of sleep. Sleep isn't one continuous state. It's a series of 90-minute cycles that repeat 4 to 6 times per night. Each cycle moves through distinct stages. Stage 1, light sleep, transition from wakefulness, 5 to 10 minutes. Stage 2, true sleep begins, body temperature drops, heart rate slows, 20 minutes. Stage 3, deep sleep, slow wave sleep, physical restoration, immune function, memory consolidation, 20 to 40 minutes. And REM sleep, rapid eye movement, dreaming, emotional processing, learning consolidation, 10 to 60 minutes, increases with each cycle. Then the cycle starts over. Here's what most people don't realize. You wake up briefly between every cycle, 4 to 6 times per night. You just don't remember it. Your brain does a quick threat assessment. Safe? Comfortable? Bladder okay? Temperature okay? If everything checks out, you immediately fall back into the next sleep cycle. Total wake time, 5 to 15 seconds. No conscious memory. But sometimes something goes wrong, and one of those brief awakenings becomes conscious. Why 3 a.m. specifically? You typically fall asleep around 11 p.m. or midnight. Your first 2 sleep cycles, first 3 hours, are dominated by deep, slow-wave sleep. Your body is in deep restoration mode. Cortisol levels are at their absolute lowest. Around 3 to 4 a.m., your sleep architecture shifts. Deep sleep decreases, REM sleep increases. Your sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, easier to disrupt. This is also when your cortisol awakening response, CAR, begins to activate, your body's natural process of preparing to wake up, which starts 2 to 3 hours before your actual wake time. So at 3 a.m., you're in lighter sleep, cortisol is beginning to rise, and your arousal threshold, the amount of stimulus needed to wake, is much lower than it was at midnight. This is why 3 a.m. awakenings are so common. It's the intersection of lighter sleep architecture and early cortisol activation. But here's the critical question. Why can't you fall back asleep? When you wake at 3 a.m., your brain makes a split-second decision. Is this a brief awakening, or is it time to wake up? It assesses several factors. Cortisol level, rising equals morning signal, light exposure, dark equals night, light equals day, core body temperature, rising equals wake time approaching, cognitive arousal, thoughts active equals wake, quiet equals sleep. If any of these signals say wake up, your brain activates the ascending arousal system, a network of neurons that floods your brain with wake-promoting neurotransmitters. Orexin, hypocretin, stimulates wakefulness, prevents sleep. Norepinephrine increases alertness, heart rate, blood pressure. Histamine promotes arousal, attention. Dopamine increases motivation, goal-directed behavior. Acetylcholine enhances cognitive function, memory. Once this system activates, falling back asleep becomes neurologically difficult. You're not just trying to relax, you're fighting a cascade of wake-promoting chemicals. The cognitive activation feedback loop. Here's where it gets worse. The moment you think, oh no, I'm awake, that thought itself is cognitive arousal. Your prefrontal cortex activates. Now you're thinking about being awake, which activates more of your prefrontal cortex, which makes you more awake.
Then you start problem solving. How can I fall back asleep? Problem solving is executive function. Executive function requires prefrontal cortex activation, which is the exact opposite of what you need for sleep. Then comes the anxiety. If I don't fall asleep soon, I'll be exhausted tomorrow. Anxiety activates your amygdala. Your amygdala signals threat. Threat activates your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. Now your heart rate is elevated, your breathing is shallow, your muscles are tense. Your body is in a state of physiological arousal. This is the opposite of the parasympathetic dominance required for sleep. The performance anxiety trap. The longer you lie there trying to sleep, the more you associate your bed with wakefulness and frustration. This is called conditioned arousal. Your bed should be a sleep cue, a stimulus that triggers relaxation and drowsiness. But when you spend an hour lying there awake, anxious, frustrated, your brain starts associating your bed with those states instead. Over time, just getting into bed can trigger arousal. Your brain has learned bed equals trying to sleep equals failure equals frustration equals wakefulness. This is the neurological trap, and it's why the standard advice, just relax, clear your mind, don't think about it, doesn't work. You can't think your way out of a neurochemical cascade. Let's talk about cortisol, because this is the key to understanding why 3 a.m. awakenings are so stubborn. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone, but it's also your wake-up hormone. It follows a daily rhythm called the cortisol awakening response. Normal cortisol pattern, lowest around 2 to 3 a.m., middle of sleep, begins rising 2 to 3 hours before wake time, peaks within 30 minutes of waking, declines throughout the day. If you normally wake at 7 a.m., your cortisol begins rising around 4 to 5 a.m., but if you're stressed, anxious, or have disrupted sleep patterns, this curve shifts earlier. Your cortisol might start rising at 2 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. This earlier rise corresponds exactly with those 3 a.m. awakenings. Why stress makes 3 a.m. awakenings worse? When you're stressed, work pressure, relationship issues, financial worry, chronic anxiety, your HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, becomes hyperactive. Your baseline cortisol is elevated. Your cortisol awakening response starts earlier and is more pronounced. Your arousal threshold drops. Result, you wake earlier, and once awake, the elevated cortisol makes falling back asleep nearly impossible. This is why people say, I wake up at 3 a.m. and my mind starts racing. It's not just psychological. It's your cortisol pulling you into wakefulness and your brain interpreting that signal as time to solve problems.
So how do you break this pattern? Here's what actually works based on sleep medicine research. Rule number 1, the 20-minute rule. If you've been awake for more than 15 to 20 minutes, get out of bed. This is non-negotiable. Why? Because every minute you spend lying in bed awake strengthens the association between your bed and wakefulness. You're training your brain that bed equals trying to sleep equals frustration. Get up, leave the bedroom, go somewhere dimly lit. Do something boring and non-stimulating. Read a book, not on a screen. Do light stretching. Sit quietly. The key is no screens, no bright lights, no problem solving, no stimulation. Rule number 2, bore your brain into submission. Your brain wakes you because it detected something worth waking for. Your job is to prove it wrong by being so boring that sleep becomes the more interesting option. Don't engage with your thoughts. Don't try to solve problems. Don't plan tomorrow. Don't review yesterday. This isn't clearing your mind. That's impossible and creates performance anxiety. Instead, give your brain a single, boring, repetitive task. Count backward from 1,000 by threes. Recite a poem or song lyrics you know by heart. Mentally list countries, state capitals, or animals alphabetically. Practice progressive muscle relaxation. Tense and release each muscle group. The goal isn't to not think. It's to think about something so mundane that your prefrontal cortex disengages and your brain decides sleep is a better use of resources. Rule number 3, control the cortisol.
Since early cortisol activation is driving many 3 a.m. awakenings, you need to address your baseline stress. During the day, 20 to 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, but not within 3 hours of bedtime. Sunlight exposure in the first hour after waking resets circadian rhythm, anchors cortisol timing. Stress management, meditation, journaling, therapy, whatever works for your context. Before bed, wind-down routine starting 60 to 90 minutes before sleep. Dim lights, lower temperature, reduce stimulation. No problem solving, no work emails, no stress-inducing content. Consider magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams, supports GABA, calms the nervous system. Number 4. Temperature manipulation. Your core body temperature needs to drop for sleep initiation and maintenance. When you wake at 3 a.m., your temperature is beginning its natural rise toward waking. Counter this. Keep bedroom cool, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. If you wake, expose hands and feet to cool air. They're thermal radiators. Cooling them lowers core temperature. Avoid bundling up when you can't sleep. Heat equals wakefulness signal. Number 5. Reframe the awakening. This is psychological but powerful. Stop treating the awakening as a catastrophe. Your brain wakes you briefly multiple times per night. That's normal. Most nights you don't remember. This night you do. That's all. The more you catastrophize, "Oh no, I'm awake, this is terrible, I'll be exhausted," the more you activate your stress response, which releases more cortisol, which makes you more awake. Instead, "I'm awake. That's okay. I'll get up, do something boring, and when I'm sleepy, I'll go back to bed." Acceptance reduces arousal. Reduced arousal allows sleep. Let me be clear about what doesn't work. Don't check your phone. Blue light suppresses melatonin. Engaging content activates your brain. Email creates stress. Social media triggers comparison and arousal. Your phone is a sleep killer. Don't lie there trying to force sleep. Sleep is a biological process that happens when conditions are right. You can't force it. Trying creates performance anxiety, which activates arousal, which prevents sleep. Don't turn on bright lights. Light is a powerful circadian signal. Bright light tells your brain it's daytime. Use dim, warm lighting only. Don't start problem solving. Your prefrontal cortex needs to be quiet for sleep. Thinking about your to-do list, your problems, your plans, all of that is executive function activation, the opposite of sleep. Don't eat a full meal. Digestion activates your metabolism and raises your core temperature. Both are wake signals. A small protein-based snack is fine if hunger is waking you, but nothing substantial. Here's the truth. 3 a.m. awakenings are a neurological and hormonal pattern, not a character flaw or a sign that something is deeply wrong with you. Your brain wakes briefly between sleep cycles. Sometimes, cortisol activation, stress, or environmental factors turn that brief awakening into full consciousness. Once awake, a cascade of wake-promoting neurotransmitters and stress hormones makes falling back asleep difficult. The fix isn't trying harder to sleep, it's understanding the biology and working with it, not against it. Your action plan? If awake more than 20 minutes, get out of bed. Do something boring in dim light. Give your brain a mundane task. Control daytime stress to normalize cortisol timing. Keep bedroom cool. Reframe the awakening. Acceptance, not catastrophe. Try this tonight. If you wake at 3 a.m., don't panic. Don't lie there. Get up. Be boring. Your brain will get the message. Drop a comment. Do you wake at a specific time every night? Let me know what time and whether you've tried getting out of bed. If you found this helpful, subscribe. I break down the science of sleep, stress, and how your brain actually works, information that helps you sleep better and live better. The next video explains the science of sleep pressure and why you feel more awake the longer you lie there trying to sleep. It's counterintuitive, but it's the key to understanding insomnia. You're not broken. Your brain just needs the right intervention. And now you have it.